Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we'll continue our reading from Bhajana Rahasaya, Sri Bhajana Rahasaya by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And we are reading Dvitiyam Sadhan at the moment, which is chapter 2 of the book. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamam vande Shri Gurum Deen Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. The devotees situated in transcendence do not commit sinful activities. Even if some sins remain within the devotee, they will soon vanish. According to Manah Shiksha, verse 7, one should give up one's mischievous mentality in the form of desire for fame and deceitful finding. Pratisthasha drishta swapacha ramani me ridi natet katham sadhu prema sprishti prisprishati suchir eta nanu manaha sada tvam sevasava prabhu daita samant matulam yatha tam nikshaya tvaritam iha tam veshyati saha. O mind, a shameless, low-born prostitute who eats dog meat is flagrantly dancing in my heart in the form of desire for fame. How then can pure love of Krishna ever find a place in my heart? Just serve the devotees of Krishna who are his dear unparalleled commanders, so they can drive out this prostitute and enthrone pure love within my heart. The Mana Shiksha 6 further says, Arehe chetah prodyat kapata kutinati bhara khara ksharan mutre snatva dahasi katham atmanam api mam sada tvam gandharva giridhar pada prema vilasat sudham budhav snatva swam api nitram mam cha sukhaya. O mind, why are you scorching us both by bathing in the prominent defects of deceit and fault finding? These arise out of duality and are like the oozing urine of a donkey. You should always bathe in the nectarine ocean of Prema Bhakti arising from the lotus feet of Shri Shri Gandharvika Girdhari, and thus give us both endless pleasure. I will repeat. O mind, why are you scorching us both by bathing in the prominent defects of deceit and fault finding? These arise out of duality and are like the oozing urine of a donkey. You should always bathe in the nectarine ocean of Prema Bhakti arising from the lotus feet of Shri Shri Gandharvika Giridhari, and thus give us both endless pleasure. One should endeavor to give up duplicity and the desire for fame. Only then one can get strong attachment for chanting the holy name. The 10 offences in chanting the holy name must be given up. They are described in the Padma Puran Swarga Khanda. Satam ninda namanah paramam aparadham vitanute yatah khyatim yatam katham yusahate tad vigraham. To blaspheme the great saintly persons who are engaged in the preaching of glories of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the worst offence at the lotus feet of the holy name. One should not criticize a preacher of the glories of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If one does so, he is an offender. The Nama Prabhu, who is identical with Krishna, will never tolerate such blasphemous activities, even from one who passes as a great devotee. The second Namaprad is described as follows. Shivasya Shri Vishnur ya iha guna namadi sakalam Dhiya bhinnam pashayet sakhalo hari nam namahita karaha. In this material world, the holy name of Vishnu is all auspicious. Vishnu's name, form, qualities and pastimes are all transcendental, absolute knowledge. Therefore, if one tries to separate the absolute personality of Godhead from his holy name or his transcendental form, qualities and pastimes, thinking them to be material, that is offensive. Similarly, to think the names of demigods such as Lord Shiva to be as good as the name of Lord Vishnu, or in other words, to think Lord Shiva and other demigods to be other forms of God and therefore equal to Vishnu is also blasphemous. This is the second offense at the lotus feet of the Lord. Gurur avagya shruti shastra nindanam tathartha vadaha hari namni kalpanam. The third offense at the lotus feet of the holy name is to consider the spiritual master to be material and therefore envy his exalted position. The fourth offense is to blaspheme Vedic literature such as the four Vedas and the Purans. The fifth offense is to consider the glories of the holy name to be exaggerations. Similarly, the sixth offense is to consider the holy name of the Lord to be imaginary. The seventh offense is described as follows. Namno balad yasya hi pap buddhir na vidyate tasya yamer hi shuddhi. To think that since the Hare Krishna mantra can counteract all sinful reactions, one may therefore go on with his sinful activities and at the same time chant the Hare Krishna mantra to neutralize them is the greatest offense at the lotus feet of Harinam. The eighth offense is stated as follows. Dharma vrata tyaga hutadi sarva shubha kriya samyam api pramadaha. It is offensive to consider chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to be a ritualistic ceremony. Performing religious ceremonies, following vows, practicing renunciation, and sacrifice are all materialistic, auspicious activities. The chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra must not be compared to such materialistic religiosity. This is an offense at the lotus feet of the Lord. The ninth offense is described as follows. Ashraddha dhane vimukhe api ashrinvati yash chopadeshah shiva nama paradha. It is an offense to preach the glories of the holy name among persons who have no faith in the subject matter. Such people should be given the chance to hear the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but in the beginning they should not be instructed about the glories of the holy name. By constant hearing of the holy name, their hearts will be purified and then they will be able to understand the transcendental glories of the holy name. The 10th offense is as follows. Shruti api nama mahatmaya yah priti rahito narah aham mamadi paramo namni so api aparadha krit. If one has heard the glories of the transcendental holy name of the Lord, but nevertheless continues in a materialistic concept of life, thinking, I am this body and everything belonging to this body is mine, aham mameti, and does not show respect and love for the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that is an offense. O brother, sincerely try to give up these offenses and chant the holy name with intelligence. One is prohibited from false renunciation. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu it is stated, Prapanchikataya buddhaya hari sambandhi vastunah mumukshubhihi parityago vairagyam phalagu kathyate. When persons eager to achieve liberation renounce things related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be material, the renunciation is called phalagu or incomplete. One who has attained the qualification for chanting the holy name gives up all fruitive activities. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.41 it is said, Devrashi bhutapta nrinam pitrinam na kinkaro nayam rini cha Rajan sarvatmana yah sharanyam gato mukundam pariritya kartam. One who has given up all material duties and taken full shelter at the lotus feet of Mukunda, who gives shelter to all, is not indebted to the demigods, great sages, ordinary living beings, relatives, friends, mankind, or even one's departed forefathers. According to the Padma Puran, one should give up niyamagraha and yet follow the essence of niyam. So I'll repeat, Padma Puran says one should give up niyamagraha and yet follow the essence of niyam. Smartavya satatam vishnur vismartavyo na jatuchit sarve vidhi nishedaha syur etayor eva kinkaraha. Vishnu or Krishna should always be remembered and never forgotten at any time. All the rules and prohibitions mentioned in the Shastras should be servants to these two principles. I'll repeat. Vishnu or Krishna should always be remembered and never forgotten at any time. All the prohibitions and rules mentioned in the Shastras should be servants to these two principles. One should refrain from atonement in relation to karma and jnana. The Padma Puran gives the following statement: Harer api aparadhan yah kuryad dvipada pamshalah namashraya kadachit syat tarati eva namatah namno api sarvasurido hiya aparadhat patiti adha nama paradha yuktanam namani eva haranti agham avishranta prayuktani tani evartha karni cha. The lowest of human beings who commit offences at the lotus feet of Sri Hari will certainly cross the material ocean if they somehow take shelter of the holy name. However, those who commit offences against the holy name, the well-wisher of all, certainly fall down. I'll repeat. The lowest of human beings who commit offences at the lotus feet of Sri Hari will certainly cross the material ocean if they somehow take shelter of the holy name. However, those who commit offences against the holy name, the well-wisher of all, certainly fall down. So this is how powerful the holy name is. They are freed from their offense only by continually chanting the holy name. Indeed, one can attain all types of perfection by continuous chanting. One should try to achieve knowledge of both Krishna and oneself. One first attains knowledge of Krishna's form, then attributes, and then pastimes, as stated in Chatushloki Bhagavatam, beginning with 2.9.33. Aham evasam evagre nanyad yat sad asat param paschad aham yat etat cha yo vashishyet so smi aham. Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who existed before the creation when there was nothing but myself, nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. Yet which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead, and after annihilation what remains also will be I, the personality of Godhead. The personification of transcendental truth, Sri Krishna, is eternal and ever existing. All other manifestations, spiritual and material, are the result of his various potencies. Lord Krishna, who is like the transcendental sun, remains as the eternal truth after the universal destruction. This is the basis of the philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. Knowledge of the form of Maya, Shakti and Jiva Shakti is found in the Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.34. Riter Ratham Yat Pratiyeta Na Pratiyeta Chatmani Tad Vidyad Atmano Mayam Yatha Bhaso Yatha Tamaha. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. The energy of Krishna, known as Maya Shakti, is simultaneously one with and different from Krishna. Maya Shakti rises from but is different from the internal energy Chitta Shakti. Maya Shakti, the shadow of the internal Shakti. So the internal energy is the Chitta Shakti, and Maya Shakti is the shadow of the internal energy. It acts through the three modes of the nature which are the cause of the material world. In the material world, the ignorant living entities are bound by temporary activities. Even though the spirit soul and this material world are simultaneously one with and different from Krishna, still Krishna in his eternal form exists separately. The Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.35 states, Yatha Mahanti Bhutani Bhuteshu Chavascheshva Anu Pravishtani Apravishtani Tatha Teshu Nateshva Aham. O Brahma, please know that the universal elements enter into the cosmos and at the same time do not enter into the cosmos. Similarly, I myself also exist within everything created and at the same time I am outside of everything. Knowledge of the form of Krishna's name is given in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purnaha Shuddho Nitya Mukto Bhinnatvan Nama Namino. The holy name of Krishna is transcendently blissful. It bestows all spiritual benedictions, for it is Krishna himself, the reservoir of all pleasures. Krishna's name is complete and it is the form of all transcendental mellows. It is not a material name under any condition and it is no less powerful than Krishna himself. Since Krishna's name is not contaminated by the material qualities and there is no question of its being involved with Maya, Krishna's name is always liberated and spiritual. It is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. This is because the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are identical. The Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu further says, Atah Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyaha sevon mukhe hi jivadav swam ev surti atah. Because Krishna's holy name, form, qualities and pastimes are all on the absolute platform, material senses cannot therefore appreciate them. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of the Lord's food, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. According to the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.21.2, one should practice chanting the holy name according to his qualification. Swe swe adhikare ya nishtha sa gunaha parikirtitah viparayas tu doshah syad ubhayor esha nishchayah. Steadiness in one's own position is declared to be actual piety, whereas deviation from one's position is considered impiety. In this way, the two are definitely ascertained. Qualifications for chanting the holy name are given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th Canto, Chapter 20, verse 27 to 28. Jata Shraddho Mata Kathasu Nirvinnaha Sarvakarmasu Veda Dukkhatmakan Kaman Parityage api anishwaraha tato bhajet mam pritaha shraddhalur dhrida nishchayah jushmanash shatan kaman dukkho darkamsh cha garhayan. Having awakened faith in the narrations of my glories, being disgusted with all material activities, knowing that all sense gratification leads to misery, but still being unable to renounce all sense enjoyment, my devotee remains happy and worships me with full great faith and conviction. Even though he is sometimes engaged in sense enjoyment, my devotee knows that all sense gratification leads to a miserable result, and he sincerely repents such activities. One should try to attain the 6 qualities favorable for performing bhajana. These qualities are given in the Upadeshamrita, or the nectar of instruction. Utsahan nishchaya dhairya tat karma pravartanat sanga tyagat sato vritte shadbhir bhakti prasidhyati. These are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. Number 1, being enthusiastic. 2nd, endeavoring with confidence. 3rd, being patient. 4th, acting according to the regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, hearing, chanting and remembering Krishna. 5th, abandoning the association of non-devotees. And 6th, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. One must strive to achieve the association of pure devotees. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 25, verse 25, it is said, Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti rit karna rasayanaha katha tad joshanad ashva apavarga vartmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati. In the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. He then gradually attains Shraddha, attachment, Rati, Bhava, and Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. And our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, was telling us that the stage of Bhav or Rati is actually the silver coin. It is 99%, and then when we have the other 1%, we reach the Prema stage. How to associate with the devotee is mentioned in Upadeshamrita. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta dikshasti chet pranatibhishcha bhajantam isham shushrushya bhajan vigyam ananyam anya nindadi shunya ridam ipshit sang labdhya. So this is the verse 5 of the Upadeshamrita, nectar of instruction. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, Diksha, and is engaged in the worshipping of the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service, whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. Such a pure devotee sees everyone as the eternal servant of the Krishna. One should pass his life in the mood of Yukta Vairagya and chant the holy name as stated in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Anasaktasya vishayan yatharaham upayunjataha nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. When one is not attached to anything but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above the possessiveness. The Srimad Bhagavatam 7.11.32 further says, Vritya swabhava kritaya vartamanaha swakarmakrit hitva swabhava jam karmaha shanair nirgunatam iyat. If one acts in his profession according to his position in the modes of nature and gradually gives up these activities, he attains the Nishkam stage. One should live free from sin and take shelter of the holy name. This art of living is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.7.39. Prana vrityeva santushayena munir naivendriya priyaha jnanam yatha na nashyeta navakriyeta van manaha. A learned sage should take his satisfaction in the simple maintenance of his existence and should not seek satisfaction through gratifying the material senses. In other words, one should care for the material body in such a way that one's higher knowledge is not destroyed and so that one's speech and mind are not deviated from self-realization. One should live in such a way that he can avoid useless activities. In this way, one should give up the propensity for material sense enjoyment. One should nourish himself in such a way that the tongue and mind do not deviate from the Yukta Vairagya. One should especially carefully regarding one's association. The Hari Bhakti Subhodaya 2.13 gives the following reason. Yasya yat sangitaha pumso Manivat syat satad gunaha Swakularadhyai tato dhiman swayuthani eva samshrayet. As the qualities of a nearby object are reflected in a crystal, one similarly takes on the qualities of a person with whom he associates. Therefore, a wise person should take shelter of those sadhus who are more advanced, affectionate, and have the same temperament. One should carefully follow the path of Bhajanas as described in the Skanda Puran. Samrigayaha Shreyasam Hetuhu Pantaha Santapavarjitaha Anavapta Shrimam Purve Yena Santaha Pratasthire. One should strictly follow the easy path which the previous Mahajans have accepted. That path bestows great auspiciousness and is devoid of all misery. The path given in the Vedas is the real path of Bhakti as stated in the Brahma Yamala. Shruti Smriti Purnadi Pancharatra Vidhim Vina Ekantiki Harer Bhaktir Upatayev Kalpyate. Devotional service to the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedas, literatures like Upanishads, Purans, Narad Pancharatra, etc. is simply an unnecessary disturbance in the society. One can easily progress by accepting the path given by the Mahajans. One who acts according to his own ideas will meet with disturbance and ruin. If one makes no effort to become free from anarthas, he will meet with misfortune, being unable to receive the mercy of the holy name. Without receiving the mercy of the name, one will be unable to remove his anarthas despite repeated attempts. I'll repeat, without receiving the mercy of the name, one will be unable to remove the anarthas despite repeated attempts. But if one cries sincerely at the lotus feet of the name, then within a few days all anarthas will vanish. After giving up anarthas, one should fully engage in hearing and chanting, taking complete shelter of the holy name. The endeavors of one performing resolute bhajan are described in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. Evam ekantinam prayah kirtanam smaranam prabho kurvataha paramam pritya kritya manyam naruchyate. Bhavena kenchit preshta Shri Murter Anghari Svev Sevane Syadichaisham Swamantrena Swa Raseneva Tad Vidhi Vihiteshva Ev Nityeshu Pravartante Swayam Hi Te Sarva Tyagyepe Ahegyayah Sarvanarthah Bhuvaschate Kuryah Pratishtha Vishthayaha Kuruyuh Pratishtha Vishthayaha Yatanam Aparshane Varam Prabhate Chardharate Cha Madhyahane Divasakshaye Kirtayanti Harim Ye Vai Natesham Anya Sadhanam. The devotees whose minds are fixed on hearing and chanting Krishna's glories in pure love have no taste for other activities. Serving their beloved deities with the Diksha mantras stimulates their taste for Swarasiki Bhajan, worship according to their particular rasa. The activities of such Raganuga Bhakta arises out of spontaneous devotion for Krishna. Still, his activities are never contrary to the Shastric injunctions. Even if one can give up all material desires, the desire for fame is very difficult to give up. This desire for fame, which is compared to stool, is the root cause of all anarthas. Therefore, one should carefully avoid touching the stool in form of desire for fame. In the early morning, at dawn, midday, midnight, one who gives up his anarthas and engages in hearing and chanting easily obtains the mercy of Lord Krishna. I'll repeat. In the early morning, at the dawn, midday and midnight, one who gives up his anarthas and engages in hearing and chanting easily obtains the mercy of Lord Krishna. Those who with full faith chant the holy name in the association of devotees are freed from anarthas and reach the stage of nishtha. Remember Krishna's eternal pastimes in the morning and gradually you will attain bhava. In the Govind Lilamrit it is said, Radham snata vibhushitam vraja paya hutam sakhibhi prage tadgehe vihitan pakarachanam Krishna Vasheshanam Krishnam Buddham Avapta Dhenu Sadanam Nirvayuddha Dohanam Susnatam Krita Bhojanam Sahacharesh Tam Chathatam Chashraye. I take shelter of Srimati Radharani after finishing her ablutions and ornamenting her body. Radharani is called early in the morning by Mother Yashoda. Radha, accompanied by her girlfriends, then goes to the house of Mother Yashoda and prepares varieties of delicious foodstuffs which are offered to Krishna. Radharani then takes Krishna's remembrance. During this time, Radha occasionally gets the chance to meet Krishna. I also take shelter of Krishna after awakening from his bed early in the morning. Krishna first goes to the cowshed to milk the cows. Following his daily routine, Krishna then returns home, and after taking bath, he takes his meals in the company of his cowherd friends. Remember these pastimes in the morning, and overwhelmed with love, chant the holy name in the association of devotees. Then within a short time, bhav, that's the transcendental emotions, will be awakened. And thus ends the Dvitiyam Sadhan of Sri Bhajana Rahasaya. And we will continue our reading from Tritiyam Sadhana, which is the chapter 3 of the book Sri Bhajana Rahasaya, next time. Thank you for joining. Hari Om Tat Sat, Hare Krishna, and a very happy Ekadashi to all of you who are observing today. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.